My name is Laura, and I am one of those Valencians who has spent half of her life among firecrackers, Ruta del Bacalao nights, and village festivals sweetened with casaya. I am a prophet of my land wherever I go, and I couldn't stay away for long because the fallera spirit and summers in El Perreo were in my blood, and there was no better place to live than La Terreta. I am from Silla, a town in Lorta Sur that barely survived. The story of my life, like so many others, holds no more secrets than yours, but there is one day, just one, that was etched in my memory forever. It rained just enough to make you want to stay home, wrapped in blankets and sipping coffee. How many storms had been announced? How many warnings given? And in the end, they turned out to be fleeting drizzles. But that day, the sky was not going to be lenient. On that day, the earth wept with fury, with pent-up pain that tore through every street and corner of our towns. At 12:20 p.m., Emergency Services 112 knew the beast had awakened. A simple piece of advice: stay away from rivers and streams. How little that was, how insufficient against what was to come. By 5 p.m., the flow of the Pollo Ravine was already roaring at 300 cubic meters per second. A silent warning, a monster of mud and rage that descended without noise until at 7 p.m. it exploded with the force of 2,000 cubic meters, burying those who lived unsuspectingly in their routines. It wasn't even raining in many of those places, but the mud, debris, and rocks swept away their lives and dreams, all in an instant. And then, silence. That silence that chills your blood. Destroyed houses, cars marked with an X that told stories never meant to be told. Stories of lives lost, garages turned into tombs, and streets that were no longer streets, but rivers of tears and desolation. I walked through that silence, feeling how the mud sucked my feet down, each step as heavy as a ton. I saw faces reflecting the same question: why? The authorities arrived late, so late that all that remained was the echo of their inaction. The alert to the phones didn't come until 8 p.m. when there was no escape, when families were holding each other with water up to their necks and desperation in their eyes. That's when I realized, like so many others, that we had been left to our fate. There was no planning, no official hands to lift the fallen. The story of the pending works in the Pollo Ravine, those promised in 2007, resonates like a cruel joke. If they had been done, if at least what they already knew had been foreseen, how many tears would have been spared? How many names wouldn't be on that growing list today? But when the lights of the administration went out, it was the people who lit up. And what a formidable, heartbreaking sight it was. I saw men and women, young and old, go out without a second thought. I saw volunteers with mud-covered feet, hands wounded from digging, their spirits shattered but unyielding. I saw neighbors sharing what little they had, a glass of water, a hug, words of comfort. Because when the world leaves you alone, all you have left is the warmth of your people. The people saved the people. They did it with a courage that became etched in memory, reminding us that in adversity, solidarity is our best weapon. And yet, while we dirtied our hands, while we walked miles with buckets and brooms, official disorganization remained a cruel companion. There weren't enough buses, no logistical support. What I saw was an army of citizens, unprotected and inexperienced, doing what others should have done, because lives were at stake and waiting wasn't an option. The only solution, the only clear truth, is that in moments like this, we cannot act half-heartedly. We needed a rapid response, a real protocol to safeguard the living and honor the dead. But instead, we had to wield the shovels and bear the pain of those who lost everything. And although that wound remains open, what lingers is a bitter, sweet feeling, knowing that no matter how abandoned we are, we will always have our hands, our voice, to rise and shout that we are here, still standing, and we will not forget. So to those who are gone, to those who weep in silence, to those still searching through the mud, I want to say, you are not alone. Next time, we will demand more. We will be stronger. Because if anything, this tragedy has shown that the earth trembles, the sky roars, but the Valencian soul never breaks. Resilience. Always resilience. Resilience, always resilience. Because even if our feet sink into the mud, our will remains upright and our hearts beat as one. Even with skin covered in mud and memories stained with pain, we have shown that we are more than a people. We are a family. And in a family, no one is left behind. To you who are listening, know that what we have lived through is not a story to be told and forgotten, but to remember and learn from. Because while the river swept everything in its path, there were those who saved others amidst fear and despair, with nothing more than their humanity as armor. In Paiporta, in Utiel, in Catarroja, and every corner that was buried, I saw faces searching for a glimmer of hope, and they found it in a neighbor's hand, in a stranger's embrace. During those days, the word neighbor became synonymous with hero. Today, I speak to Carmen, one of so many volunteers who didn't sleep for hours. I saw her run through rubble and puddles, bringing bread and comfort to those in need. I saw her cry and keep going. Or to Juan, who had lost his workshop, his livelihood of years, but didn't hesitate to lend his truck to carry trapped elderly people. And so, each anonymous face became a story of bravery, proof that what truly sustains us is the invisible bond of our community. But there's also another side, the bitter side of knowing that while we, ordinary people, gave it our all, those who were supposed to protect us were not up to the task. It's not just about criticism. It's about demanding accountability, because we cannot allow that. In a tragedy of this scale, the response arrives late and with the echo of broken promises. We cannot allow alert messages to arrive when the tragedy has already struck. We cannot permit that in the greatest catastrophe we have faced, the government's hands are crossed when they should be raised. A lack of preparation, of foresight, is something we have paid for with lives. The works on the Pollo Ravine, that scar that has waited decades for attention, are a reminder that neglect is costly. Water does not understand politics or bureaucratic deadlines, and when it surges, it does not distinguish between names or ranks. It sweeps everything away and leaves us with the task of picking up the pieces. But now, at this point, rebuilding is not enough. We must demand, shout louder than ever, never again. To those who have lost everything, to those who rise every day among ruins and memories, I tell you, you are not alone. Your fight is ours. Your pain is ours. And your story is the one we will tell so this never happens again. And to those we lost, who did not see the wave coming that afternoon, we promise your memory will be the spark that fuels our struggle. Because if this disaster has proven anything, it's that they left us alone. But we will never give up.